this guy's not ready for it. Vinny, I need you to start the podcast with a prayer. So lead the way with a prayer.
Oh, wow. Dear Lord, thank you for another beautiful day. I pray, Lord, that you protect everybody in this room and all the people out there watching at home. Bless the PBD podcast, Lord, because you know the message is about the truth and finding the way and leading people to you, because everything happens through you. You are the way, you are the truth, you are the life. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen, amen.
Let's go.
There you go. Wow. He wasn't prepared.
I wasn't.
I didn't tell him about it. I said, you.
Oh God, please God, bless the PBD podcast, and no mention of all those people being obliterated in the Middle East, all those innocent schoolgirls that just recently got exploded. But bless the PBD podcast.
God gave me this podcast. He said, print my money. Yeah, it's insane. It's insane to do this. Like, what? You're not even going to mention the war you're about to spend 3 hours talking about? That was my thought exactly. But one, they have no self-awareness at all. They don't even know how to actually pretend to be Christian. But I did think it's another indicator that we've talked about. This new evangelism, I think, is going to be a big lane for the Republican Party. And I think that is the I don't know, the replacement for MAGA once Donald Trump is gone.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, we already do see that some with like the even a lot of the people like Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens. They talk about like Christ is king, and like all these other Republicans, these more neocon Republicans, like the inference is like they're controlled by the Jews. We're controlled by Christ. We only answer to Christ because Christ is king and shit. So 100%. And obviously that being said, it's not like PBD doesn't engage in a good deal of Israel propaganda themselves. They've had Netanyahu on quite literally, but either way, that is an interesting observation. And yeah, just pretty hilarious. They got these, Super Bowl tickets and all these shitty hats and stuff, and they're like doing a prayer. Either way, here's another good timestamp. Zach, get ready for some absolutely brilliant foreign policy analysis. Hopefully the Iranians are taking note.
I love this freeze frame, by the way.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
6 months ago. Yeah. I thought that was done.
The story came out that maybe we didn't go all the way in and we didn't fully destroy it. Maybe we did. If you remember where they were like, no, they didn't fully destroy everything they did. And who knows the real story behind what happened there. So, okay, Adam, your thoughts on this?
So I don't want to help the terrorists, but if the terrorists, they're the IRGC in Iran, actually want to understand Trump, they should read one book. It's called The Art of the Deal. Because if they read,
he didn't even write it. And Donald Trump famously did not write that book. In fact, you can read a bunch of interviews with the guy who's like, "Oh yeah, I was the ghostwriter. Donald Trump didn't have any input. I just was like, hey, do you think you like this?" And he was like, "Yeah, I like this." So hysterical to be like, just to understand the one book. You mean the book that he didn't even write? He had nothing to do with. He put his name on it like he does everything else.
He's like, I don't want to tell about the terrorists, but if you really want to work with Trump, read The Art of the Deal. Thank you for your brilliant fucking analysis.
One book. It's called The Art of the Deal. Because if they read that book and put down the Quran and put up this book, they'll actually probably understand Trump's mindset. You talk about asymmetric warfare. How many times have you heard that term? Asymmetric warfare. They got drones, we got missiles, all of that. Yep. Trump is also using asymmetric warfare. He's basically saying, you got 48 hours, tough guy. They're like, what? Hold on, what? Are we going to call him? We're going to talk to him? All right, just kidding. You got 5 days. And then in 3 days, he bombs them. And they're like, what? I thought it was 48 hours. I thought Trump is unpredictable. He's using tactics.
They're talking about literal war crimes. And he's like, yeah, Trump, what a masterful fucking deal maker. He says 5 days and then he just bombs them in 3. What a great deal maker.
It's also so funny because Donald Trump, like what they're doing is they're making up dumbass excuses for why Donald Trump tacoed, right? He completely folded on his threats. And now listen, guys, I'm actually really glad that he folded on those threats. I don't have any fucking need for Donald Trump to go in there and get a bunch of American lives killed, risk broader escalations and all kinds of shit by going in and opening up the Strait of Hormuz. But over the weekend, he was tweeting a real big game. He was like, oh, you have 48 hours. Or as Gavin said, I'm going to commit war crimes, right? He was like, I'm going to bomb your entire fucking electrical grid or something crazy like that. That was his threat. And then Iran was like, we're not backing down. Fuck you. We're calling your bluff. And then Donald Trump had to come out and say, oh, we were negotiating privately. Iran's like, we didn't negotiate. Oh, you're just a fucking liar. You tried to posture like a big guy and you got humiliated. And now these idiots like Adam Sosnick and PBD and Vinny, they're going to come out here and act like he's playing 5D chess. Like it was, oh, bro, you don't even know. He's coming at you from all kinds of different angles. It's humiliating.
Yeah, pretty hilarious stuff. That was most of what I thought was worth reacting to. The put down the Quran, hold up the art of the deal commentary. Great stuff from Adam. But yeah, I mean, just hilarious. Some of the dumbest fucking bullshit of all time. As far as the foreign policy analysis goes.
Totally. And it's not even working on their base, right? It's not even working on the people who listen to their podcast. We can listen to a little bit of Sam Cedar dunking on PBD, but we can also do a little bit of our own investigation. This is from this morning, guys. So they had to come out here and again, simp for Donald Trump after he humiliated himself. So they're like, obliterate Iran's power plant. Trump pauses Iran power strikes amid 48-hour ultimatum, right? Which is basically folding completely. If you come down here, the first comment just says, I'm just here for the comments. I can't wait to hear the 5D chess explanation here. Running a war on Twitter is ridiculous. Market manipulation at its finest. That's the other thing we haven't even talked about is the entire element of Donald Trump's self-enrichment, right? Because you can't even keep track of it. Not only is he pushing through new crypto deregulation bills, but he's also manipulating the market when it comes to oil prices, when it comes to gold prices, all so that he can continue to enrich his inner circle and get away with whatever he wants. Hey, everyone, it's Taco Tuesday. Do you really believe they had successful talks? What a joke. Patrick bought David. According to Al Jazeera, no talks exist between U.S. and Iran. All bluster, all bluff. Donald Trump just blinked. So this is not selective at all. These are all of the first fucking comments
this morning's episode
of this morning's
No one
episode.
even cares about the new set. I bet they were hoping to get a bunch of people like being like, I love the new set. And instead of it's just like, you're fucking stupid. And this commentary is horrible. Why are you shilling for Trump and Israel? That's so fucking funny. That's hilarious. I mean, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, let me see if I can refresh it too, because I had this up a while ago. I wonder if there's any more.
Maybe they've deleted all the bad ones by now.
Let's see here. Oh, no, can't wait to hear the 5. He threatened, Iran didn't care. The strait is still closed. What did he achieve? Let's see. The uphill battle that Vinny has to traverse with sounding neutral, knowing that everything about this conflict is bad for the USA, all while trying to not make dad look bad because he is a simp to Israel. God bless the work you do, Vinny.
Yeah, it's hilarious. I'm not seeing any positive comments.
Yeah,
no one was impressed by the prayer.
Yeah, Trump went from unconditional surrender to let's make a deal. You guys are talented comedians. Maybe you're not conscious of your talent, but you're good. That's another troll, I think. If more than 1,000 troops die in one go, people are going to flip their lids. That's the point. He has no idea. Yeah, it's just all people trolling them for simping for Donald Trump. I think that this is a real indicator of a further fracturing in the MAGA movement.
At least the online MAGA movement. Yeah, because I mean, we've taken a look at some of those polls that say like 90% of Trump supporters support the Iran war and stuff. I believe it, but I do feel like the online Trump supporters, they're hearing enough at this point of like Tucker Carlson or like Dave Smith or whatever their idiot of choice is that's, finally had the balls to admit that Trump is a fucking, pro-war hawk, right? So the people that are online, they're getting enough of that commentary that they're starting to turn. I do thoroughly believe, though, that as far as just the IRL Trump supporters, the ones that aren't terminally online, the ones that still watch a lot of Fox News, I bet they're, still overwhelmingly in support of this conflict, as they are overwhelmingly in support of basically any U.S. aggression or war crime towards any country. They don't give a fuck about the context or the justification. They're just like, yeah, if America did it, I support it.
Yeah, I think that is true. And if anything, it'll indicate a position like a big money surge in conservative commentators trying. I mean, I guess we've already actually seen that, right, with Ben Shapiro, Mark Levin, and what PBD is doing. People trying really hard to counteract that message, but we'll see how well it works.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty interesting. PBD is in sort of a weird lane because they will have like Nick Fuentes on, but then they'll also like just do a bunch of pro-war coverage and like kind of hide the ball when it comes to Israel's role in this and Trump's role in this. Like there's a segment of this conversation from this morning on PBD where I think it's Vinny. He's like going off on Lindsey Graham and shit. And, they always find some scapegoat. It's like, bro, it's not like Lindsey Graham is not president. Trump is president. How are you going to go on a 30-minute rant against Lindsey Graham, but act like Trump is some brilliant deal maker if he's the one getting had by Lindsey Graham and tricked by Bibi? You know what I'm saying? It's like, which is it? Is he smart or is he a total fucking moron?
Yeah, it's really interesting because you're right. They're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. They have people in their audience that are smart enough to have figured it out. They've listened to people like Dave Smith. They've listened to people like Sagar and Jetty, other conservatives who were like, hey, I am on board with Donald Trump, but they're also like, you're not acting the way you said you would act. And then also caught between people who are like the diehard MAGA loyalists. And also that's where the money is, right? We know, I mean, if you've gotten Benjamin Netanyahu on your podcast, that means you're awash in all kinds of Israeli Zionist funding. We could only imagine what kind of money, dark money is behind the PBD podcast, right? They would not say no to anything, no matter how pernicious it is. And he's trying to do that walk and waddle without ever, criticizing the Führer Donald Trump.
Yep, 100%. But yeah, let's take a look at some of the Majority Report's commentary on PBD. I'm anxious to see this.
Yeah.
Oops.
What clip is this?
This is 10.
Only the Majority Report would open their clip with like 10 seconds of Sam being like, oh.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's Friday. Fun half. When we're talking about getting something more serious, I mean, let's get seriously value-tained. And let's do it on what could be the next prolonged quagmire this country has gotten into.
13 U.S. troops
I believe so. Let me
killed.
double check.
I think the number is 13, 2 over the weekend, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. It was 11 on Friday.
One is too many. One is too many, but I think we're at 13 right now. So it is one of the options and choices he had to put troops on the ground. The people that don't want it, can they criticize him? Absolutely. The people that voted for him, if this is a choice that he had to use, because right now you have one of two choices. You either leave right now and you delay the issue later on for somebody else, or if you're already in too deep, guess what? Finish the job. Which one do you want him to do?
Mm-hmm.
Where are you at?
Mm-hmm.
Like, really, I'm asking you, Vinny.
Oh, what?
Right now, would you want him to leave?
He can't leave. No, he has to finish it.
You're an advisor. You're in the room, but there's not a right or wrong answer.
Like killing every Iranian, like bombing every building. Like what is finishing? What even is this fucking goal? Was we supposedly obliterated all their nuclear material like 6 months ago? So what is there to finish? Just kill some more innocent people? The job isn't done until every last Iranian is dead on the floor. Like what?
Yeah, I think they're specifically talking about opening the Strait of Hormuz up and saying like, we've got to show our strength, but it cannot be overstated how terrible of an idea it would have been for Donald Trump to over the weekend try and force a reopening of the Strait of Hormuz without any ally support or anything like that. It would have cost, over 1,000 American lives, if not, fucking 5,000.
Yeah, and he still might do it, by the way.
Yeah.
100% they still might do it. They're moving another fucking, fleet of ships to Iran right now. Trump's probably just buying more time.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Because he doesn't want to just completely, leave defeated. Like, I do think his ego's too big for him to just completely pull out right now and have to bend the knee to Iran and get them to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Like, we'd have to, they're not going to reopen it.
Yeah.
Even if Trump withdraws all the troops right now, they're not going to fucking reopen it.
To this question, it's just where you are. And by the way, run this poll, Rob, okay? Right now, you're in the Situation Room, and not even that. He just calls you. Vinny, I saw you on the podcast the other day.
Yes.
Okay? What do you think we should do? We've taken out we've taken out this, we've taken out 50 people. The son is left, but his right shoulder, his leg
Pause
is
it
gone.
for a second. I
Bad
just want to say,
situation.
It's easy to sort of look at Patrick Bet-David and be like, this guy's skimming the surface so much about this. Trump calls, we took out the this, we took out the that, we drop a bomb, and we do that. And what should we do now? Should we finish the job? Like, what does finish the job mean? Like, it's just like, define a couple of the terms. Like, we did this, we died, we did that, we do that, you can't do that. It's not just Patrick Bet-David. The ease in which people think wars will go, despite all of the incredible amount of evidence we have had over the course of, 50, 60, 100, whatever. But we could play Sam Harris 2 or 3 weeks ago saying, like, I think this is going to be relatively easy. We're just going to go in and this is not going to be Iraq.
It's different this time.
It's different. I mean, it's almost self-evident. Iraq, IRAQ, Iran, IRAN. So it's clearly different.
Yeah, one's got a larger coastline and a bigger population.
And it's so true what they're pointing out here, which is that at the end of the day, conservative commentators have no idea what's happening, right? They're just like, oh, yep, brown people, Muslims, kill them all, right? That's what they're getting at, right? And that's why PBD has to be like, well, we did a little bit of this, we did a little bit of that. We added some salt and pepper. Now, do you think we should throw it in the oven, or do you think we should let it rise for a while? Right? Like at the end of the day, they're using all of these. What's the word I'm looking for? Like euphemisms, because they actually have no idea what they're talking about. They can't talk about the specific areas that Donald Trump, claims to have hit, because that would involve them doing some research. That would involve them doing a little bit of homework, right? And it's very important that these guys never do any research and never do any homework. One, because they're lazy sacks of shit. And two, because the more you research, the more you realize, oh God, everything I'm telling my audience is certainly not true, right? So you lose your element of like plausible deniability, not that they give a shit, right? But it's easy for them to just go in there and make things up and throw spaghetti at the wind and always arrive at the conclusion like, yeah, let's drop a few more bombs and let's rally behind the president.
Anybody who doesn't know that they're different countries, I mean, obviously it's going to be different. But that it's just the ease in which they say this stuff. And Vinny was in the military, wasn't he? I seem to remember
both of them were. That's what's crazy. PBD was also in the United States Army.
Watching some of his stand-up and noticing his dog tags.
Oh, I should do that.
Yeah.
And now he only wears a dog collar.
Yeah, it's just one more way to. Okay, just go. I just struck by how just sort of incredibly glib. And remember, Patrick Bet David makes his money not on this podcast. The podcast is an advertisement for him as a guru and a business guru who people pay tens of thousands of dollars just to have like an hour of his advice. So this is like the way that he builds his cachet.
And we actually talked to Sam about that on our show a while ago. Sam was explaining to us that in all reality, PBD probably doesn't care that much about how much money his podcast makes. It may even actually net lose him money when he pays for these ridiculously expensive guests like Tom Brady or Kobe Bryant back in the day. But what it does is it allows him to advertise himself as a guy with connections, as a guy who gets to just hang out with Tom Brady, right? Because he's not going to come out and tell his audience, oh, I paid Tom Brady $1 million to be here and record this with me, right? He's just going to say, this is me with my brother, Tom Brady, and we're out here and we're doing X, Y, and Z, right? And he's trying to get kids with rich parents, international folks, whatever, to do his little Minnect things where it's $30,000 and I'll hear your elevator pitch and I'll give you a couple of canned bullshit responses and then I'll be on my way.
Yep, and it's not just Minnect either. It's also like the Cigar Lounge membership club, the PI or the PBD VIP, all this like stupid bullshit. That's it's kind of like how Clavicular charges tens of thousands of dollars for his looks maxing courses and shit. Like it's a total fucking scam. And yeah, it's totally just like for rich kids who have access to their parents' credit card number, or even more depressingly, people that are adults and are really so desperate for advice because they're too dumb to realize that flushing more of their money down the toilet to talk to PBD on Minnect isn't exactly going to improve their financial situation. And obviously we've talked about it at length before, but it's not just PBD and crew on Minnect. It's also Anna Kasparian, who got the invite seemingly around the same time that her take kicked off, which of course was a Valuetainment production. She's been on Minnect ever since. Currently 197 consultations. Her total is a little bit lower as far as like per minute or whatever. It's $15 per minute, but still that means, you know, she's racked up a decent amount of money over 197 consultations, depending on how long those consultations went on.
It's a 15-minute minimum too.
Yeah. So I mean, assuming some of those people wanted to chat for like an hour or something, that's a lot of fucking money. That's a lot of fucking money. Again, and that's the lower end of things. $15 a minute. I think PBD is literally like $100 a minute or something. It was fucking crazy. Let's find out. $800 a minute. Just absolute insanity. $15 minute minimum, $800 a minute for PBD. Again, we've probably reacted to this stuff a million times because it's just so crazy. Imagine being that blatant of a grifter. I mean, charging $50 a minute would be insane. Imagine charging $50 a minute. 800? Again, like, what advice do you think you're gonna get? What do you think he's gonna give you, a cheat code to life? Oh, put this cheat code into US Bank and all of a sudden your bank account will explode. $50,000 in there right now. 100,000. Like, he's not going to give you a cheat code, bro. He's going to tell you some stupid bullshit cliches, just like he always does, because that's his whole shtick, is to be a vague motivational speaker who doesn't actually know anything, at least not about what he pretends to know about, like foreign policy.
Yeah, you have to imagine, right? It's 12 grand to get a 15-minute phone call with this guy, right? And you're like, a 20-year-old guy, and you're like, PBD, I worked 3 jobs over the summer and I saved up all this money to talk to you. What advice do you have to me? Very smart. This is a very savvy business decision. A lot of people your age, they wouldn't have the determination to go and raise this kind of money that it takes to have a one-on-one conversation with me. So I'm gonna give you some really special advice. I don't often give this kind of advice to people who call me, but because you're a young man and you've worked so hard, I'm going to give you this very, very specific piece of advice. And my piece of advice for you is to please go to patrickbateman.com and patrickbetdavid.com, excuse me, and fill out the MLM marketing form, because I think you're a salesman. I think you have a lot of determination, and I think you're going to be very successful in our organization. Like, that's the kind of shit that he would tell you, right? He's just going to go right back down to the book. It's absolutely crazy. I can't imagine what kind of person actually does this, but you have to be desperate, lost, and a fucking idiot.
Yeah, 100%. And also, yeah, and not just like, are you down bad financially, but you're also probably lonely as hell, which is where stuff like this comes into play. The Boardroom Cigar Lounge, a members only experience built for business culture and connection. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of real top dogs in the business community hang out here, Zach. I'm sure that's not a total fucking lie. But yeah, the Boardroom was founded by Patrick Bet David, let's zoom in, as a private space for entrepreneurs, CEOs, founders, and high performers who value meaningful conversation and elevated experience. Inspired by the elegance of the 1960s, 1970s, and designed with modern sophistication, the Boardroom, located in the heart of Fort Lauderdale, blends exclusivity with warmth, offering a place to conduct business, meet fellow entrepreneurs, deepen relationships, or simply unwind in style. Here, every interaction has a purpose. Every visit feels like a moment. What does that even mean? Every visit feels like a moment?
I sure hope so. What are you supposed well, we were going to give everyone a Xanax when they entered and then forget the moment, but actually, no.
And every member becomes part of a community driven by legacy and exponential growth. That, again, this sounds like something ChatGPT probably wrote or whatever. But yeah, I mean, God, who knows how much it is to become a member? I imagine just an absolute fucking king's ransom is required. Oh, they're not even going to let you have to enter all your information before they tell you how much it's going to cost. I would do that, but I don't want to like dox myself on air. Oh my God. Can you imagine how much it is even to become just a silver member? What do you think? It's at least 50 grand?
Oh God. Yeah. At least. You think about in Kansas City, we have a lot of country clubs, right? And I mean, a lot of them are like, $1,500 a month, shit like that. I mean, really an astronomical amount of money. So Fort Lauderdale, you got to imagine it's an even larger financial pool. And obviously for the people who are going to sign up for this, it's just a tax write-off for them. It's just an accounting maneuver. But
you think the people that are actually joining this are even smart enough to realize that? I just figured it was a bunch of like super dumb, desperate, lonely people that had, that were like rich kids or somehow had access to the money.
Well, yeah, but I feel like if you have access to that kind of money, you have access to an accountant that's going to be like, hey, man, if you're spending all that money from dad, like we're going to say that it's for your business expenses.
True.
So we can
I guess that is why they're leaning into the whole like entrepreneur. Like this is about fostering entrepreneurial connections. I would love to like send someone into this lounge with like a hidden camera. Just like you know what I'm saying? Like, what actually goes on here? Does anyone cool actually hang out here? Or is it just a bunch of like, again, like depressing, fucking hapless PBD fans who, again, just happen to have enough money because of their parents or something? Like, I would kill to see like a a behind the scenes, fly on the wall look at what actually goes on in the Boardroom cigar lounge.
I have to imagine it's a lot of dudes who are completely, if like, assuming that there are anybody that actually goes there, right? But if I were to imagine who I would expect to be there, it would be a combination of people who obviously have extreme familial wealth, but I would also say it could very well be people who have made a shitload of money that are totally isolated, right? Like, and again, we're talking about a small group of people who would be targeted by this, but like the Wall Street bets guys, like let's say I made a fortune doing that, or I invested in cryptocurrency and I made a
NFT crowd.
Exactly. These guys that, young people got involved with tech, made an astronomical amount of money, but they don't know anything. And they're just like, I want to be a part of what it's like to be rich. I have this money in my bank account. Where is the big door that opens? And it's like, oh, I'm part of the club now. I think that PBD sells these guys the illusion that they're part of the club now, and they're really just rich.
Look at this shit. One of the photos on the website is this guy looking up at this photo of PBD. Like he's looking up at a photo of like fucking Thomas Jefferson.
Painting.
Yeah, painting. Sorry.
Oh, dog shit painting too.
Yeah, this is so funny. And then, yeah, there's my favorite one. PBD is doing a little bit of bartending action or whatever. I don't know what the fuck this is actually. But either way, yeah, I doubt PBD will serve you your cocktail at the cigar lounge. Let's see the events calendar, though. Oh, you have to pay all the money to access that. Probably because the events are fucking dog shit. Yeah. But at least you should be able to see what you're getting if you sign up for it before you sign up for it. Like, maybe there's a lot of cool member events that would encourage me to sign up, but I won't even know about them until I'm already committed. That seems stupid. But either way, yeah, just one of the many grifts that PBD runs. And yeah, I think Sam Cedar was right. Even if at this point the podcast is profitable, when it started out, it definitely was probably a loss leader for PBD, which is what Sam was saying. And it was really just about promoting Manect, promoting this fucking Boardroom cigar lounge, the MLM company, which I believe still exists to this day.
Exists.
So yeah, PBD has a whole like fucking myriad of scams out there. At one point, he was even selling some shitty book, like not even a business book, a young adult novel. Like he wrote some shitty like young adult novel, and for the longest time, he would plug it at the end of his shows. He was like, "This is the best book." Hit it up on Amazon. The Academy with what looks like a fucking AI generated cover. I bet the whole book is written by AI.
Yeah, look, it has the PBD lion in the middle right there, his personal crest. Yeah, it looks like the kind of thing they would hand out at like a Scientology church. It's like, this is written by L. Ron Hubbard, and like, oh, Jesus Christ.
So true.
Look out the door if you hear an ambulance. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there. Be there. The Vanguard will be there. Be there.